Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in and check out your boy, P-Funk, thinking right out here in my lab. And I switch up books for 1 second. I got a lesson I want to get this lesson in. It's from the meditation book, still from my teacher, Muata Ashby. This is the book about meditation, all right? But this lesson here, it's about controlling your senses. This is an important lesson, so I just pulled it out. Again, I'm cherry picking. I want to get this lesson in. Hope you enjoy it. Let's rock. I got you. Rightisms, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling. Story with a message. There's always a message in my stories for life. I give life lessons. You tune in to receive them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Excuse me. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission. And that's what I'm on. Is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking's way of life through mental spiritual discipline. Practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? Let's get that together. So I asked the question, do you know you? You will when I get through. That's what I do for you. Stay tuned. I appreciate you. I got more for you. Stay tuned. All right, let's go. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous, avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm your spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers. Know thyself and to Maya, be true. Yeah, we're going to deal with right thinking philosophy, P-Funk's philosophy on how to control your senses. And this was the vignette. This right here, if you just looked at this, you would say, what the what? You got 3 guys in front of the boat, you got 2 guys behind the boat, you got a bunch of people in the boat, but this is teaching a lesson, okay? I'm going to read you the lesson. I'm going to break it down. I want you to see it. You see the guys with the headdress? You see the headdress right here? Everybody is known by the headdress, okay? Remember these. I'm going to break these down for you. These are your senses. But this is what's going on inside you. These are the real. These are the reflections, emanations of the real. And I say the real because these are all going on inside you. This was inside your head. The boat represents your brain, your head, okay? You ready? This is a good lesson. I had to get this out. I was just coming up with this concept, studying, and it just came to me. So let me get this out the way. I just showed you a picture. It showed Ma, spelled M-A-A. He represents sight. He's in the back of the boat, on the back of the boat. And you got Sa, who represents understanding and knowledge. He's in the front of the boat. Okay, the first one here. I'll tell you. Ma is sight. That's the guy back here at the back of the boat. Oh yeah, the eye, okay? That's Sa. Then you got my man, who's that? Sa, Ma was kidding. Ma is the eye. Sa is this little thing back here, up here. That's him, okay? And then you got Hugh. He represents taste. Okay, that's a little bar right here. This little bar right here. That's what he represents. That's him. And then you got System. I think it is. Yeah, System. He represents hearing. That's him back here. Okay, so each one of them has a different thought. This is the thought guy. Remember that? The brown thinking. That's him. But these are all concepts that's going on. So I'm going to point them out to you. As I explain it, I read to you. Hope you can recall them. But let me break it down. So the subject here is on how one controls the senses. Is a very important process of meditation. Again, this is all up here. So in the yoga system, we had a sage called Patanjali in India in 200 BCE. The process was called withdrawing the senses, was termed as pratyahara. It means withdrawing the senses from the objects of the world so to as enable your mind to have an unhampered experience of consciousness. Thinking of nothing, still in your mind. That's what they tell you in the Bible, okay? That's what he was explaining before we got to the Bible time, okay? So when there is no awareness, no objects that's running in your mind, no thinking. In India yoga, this experience, they call it samadhi. I love that. I like that. That's my thing. Or super consciousness. That means you reach the next level of understanding. But in ancient Egypt, the word were sihi, S-I-H-U, sihu, or religious term, we call it ecstasy. And that was used, but when the senses are controlled and the mind begins to rise above them, that's when you go to sleep. The physical body, the senses start to fade away, okay? They drift away. Now it's all mental. So now there come unique form of peace and happiness arises in one's mind, again, which is termed bliss. We call it Hotep, supreme peace and contentment where within oneself, the mind. Most people, pay attention, most people, will never reach that. This is where you get bliss, Hotep. Most people do not and will not ever have that experience. Okay, understand that in their lifetime. Except every now and then they get it, except in a brief moments after what they have been filled. They have fulfilled a long desire, like getting a new car, getting that girl, getting that money, making that flip that package, doing whatever it is you do. I gotta put that in there. But something that makes you feel good. Okay, that's temporary. That ain't happiness. That's what I said. You get a glimpse, you get a brief, moment of it. But when you do it on purpose, when you put forth the effort, you can have that all the time. That's called bliss. That's called Hotep. Yeah, that's what they're talking about. So they associate, watch this, object with sources of happiness. Again, that's the problem. And because when they acquire the object of their desire, the thing of their desire, whatever it is their pleasure, there is what, for that point in time, a brief period of what? Relaxation and expansion and ecstasy and pleasure. Because now the tension of the desired effect, the desired object has been obtained, and now the desire is subsided. So now they strive to what? Acquire, you ready? More and more objects, not realizing, here you go, that all objects and the idea of possessing them are sources of worry, obstruction, and really a burden for one's mind. You're agitated. In this agitated mind condition, your mind degrades itself and wastes its energy looking after objects, longing for objects, and never finding peace of mind. It must be understood that as far as you, the individual person, is concerned, other people are also objects. Don't think, no, they're the same thing. You can do without them too. I just love him so much. He makes it, no. Again, object. Moving on. So in fact, everything, hear me, everything outside of yourself is an object in this physical world, time and space, in reference to your individual point of view. Thus, a mind in this condition is considered, you ready, to be a slave to what? Material objects and things, rather than being their controllers and the master. No, you are the slave. You work to drive, to get things, nice car, the fast stuff. You do all those things to have certain things. That's striving for all the wrong stuff. But y'all don't know that. A person under that mindset is controlled by their what? Senses, aka ego self. They will not be able to what? Watch this. Control themselves or the movements of the senses, their desires. Why? Their mind tells them, if their mind tells them not to look at a certain object or don't listen to something, ain't gonna happen. Why? Their ignorance gonna supersede their logic and rational reason, and what? Coupled with their desires of the body, of the flesh, the senses, and the ignorance always will search for objects and things which are what? Interested to the desires of the body. And for the ignorant mind, which does not fully understand that the objects, things cannot satisfy any desire, but only multiplies and exasperates them to what? Infinity, where they will not be able to reach that level of what? Satisfaction. They will never be happy. Why? They're never going to obtain. Why? The ego can't be satisfied. That's why. And you want object and things, that's the ego desiring things, and it's going to continue to do that on to infinity. It ain't going to stop. You stop it. That's the control. But this is the plight for all ignorant, distracted minds. Again, we know about that. Okay? I'm just bringing to your attention. Don't get mad at me if I'm just enlightening you to things that you do that's not good for you. I'm trying to help you. I ain't berating you or disrespect or talking about you. I'm here to help you. Let's go. So the ancients reliefs showed the picture previous on the page I just showed you. That's from the temple in Edfu, Egypt, Africa. It denotes, now let's go to breakdown. The mystical understanding is giving you a message. There's pictures that's worth 1,000 words, but it's giving you understanding of your senses in relation to your real inner self, your true self. The boat is where Ra, and it depicts the sun disk with an image of the winged scarab. We know as Kepri, the morning sun. Okay, the what? The come into being. Kepri means coming into being. Every morning, Ra comes into being under the sign of Kepri, sunrise. But in the center, I just showed you the picture. Now we're going to break it down for you. These are your feelings, okay? They're outside the boat. Give you a heads up. But these are all internal things that's inside you. And when I call the names out, you might be familiar with some and not, but I know them all, so I'm going to give it to you as we go. And it says here, notice that there are certain gods that's inside the boat and some that's outside the boat. Your physical senses is what's outside the boat. Okay? Your intercourse senses, the real part, is inside the boat. Watch this. So which are innate. Let's go back to here. The ones inside of the boat, which denotes the qualities, pay attention, the qualities which are innate in all humans. Okay? That is those cosmic forces which are expressions from the divine self itself, is inside you. You're part of the divine self. He gave you these qualities to use to better yourself. And these are, you got Haru, Murte. That's Haru of the two eyes. Okay? That's the guy you see right here at the front of the boat. Okay, right there, I don't know if you can see it, but that's Haru Murte. Each one I'm going to level out to you as we go, so you get a better picture. So now that's Haru too. And you got Apuat. Now Apu is the male figure for Anubis, y'all know him. He's the embalmer. He has a wife. That's Apuat. She's the one that looks after the dead from the female aspect. You know about that part. Okay, that's the part that's in you. Okay, caring for the dead. Okay, in the afterlife. That was her job. She still had that job. Okay, don't talk much about her, so you don't get much shine. But then you got, now that's right here in front of, she's in front of, look at the headgear. She's right here up in front of Mayat. You see the headgear, you see the feather? That tells you that's Mayat. Apuet is a statue right here in front of her. Behind her is Het Haru. See her headgear? The cow horns with the sun disk? That's her. And that's my boy, Tahuti. Okay? He's God's mind. He's always going to be on board. Okay? These the people that God rolled with. And then back here, you're going to see what's called Net. Net and Neith. Okay? She got the crown up in Lower Egypt. And at the last, bringing up the rear, that's my man. Who's that? At the net, you got Haru Kente, Kat. That's the unborn Haru. That's him before he come into the world, existence. And all the ones that's outside the boat are Haru Parkat. He's sitting on the front right here, the little child. You know him as Nefertim. Okay, that's him sitting right here with his hand to his mouth, finger to his mouth. But these are all outside entities. These are all inside. Okay, it's for a reason. Let me get you going right now. Got all the players in the field and name. Okay, you got them all in. You got Apuat, Mat, Haru, Tahuti, Net, and Haru Kent, Kati, Kahat, Kahet. The unborn Haru. The ones outside are Haru, Parket showed you him. That's Haru the child, the rising sun. And directly in front of the boat, oh, I forgot to tell you one. You ready for this one? You heard of a group of people called the Ptolemies? Okay, that's the white people who came to Egypt and took over. Okay, that's who Cleopatra is. This is her father, Ptolemy. Okay, I think the fourth or something. But they came in and it was so nice. They enslaved us, but they let us practice our religion, our secret mysteries. So why they could become pharaoh, they want to be like us. You enslaving people, do you want to be like them? Right now, the white man want to be cool, want to be black, want to have swag, but he don't like black people. What the hell? It's been that way since forever. It's a mindset. Sorry, it ain't their fault. They know not what they do. Christ told his father that. Don't worry about it. They don't know what they're doing. All right. But that's man's ignorance to his higher self. But again, the ones outside the boat, and it says here, the child, rising sun. But directly in front of the boat, in front of him is King Ptolemy the Fourth, white man, in Egypt, sitting on the throne at the Pharaoh, offering Maya. Yeah, our stuff. That ain't Greek. That's their Greek. Ptolemy's the Greeks. I gave that lesson too. I'm gonna get me started with that. So let me get back to the lesson. All right. So he's Ptolemy the Fourth, offering Maya, which represents, we know, truth and righteousness, faking the funk. To who? The divine company of gods that's in the boat. And behind the king, that's outside the boat, stands the gods of our senses. First one, Hugh. He represents taste and divine sustenance. He's the one to dictate what we put in our pie hole. Then you got Sa. He represents touch, feeling, and understanding. Okay, that's him. You can touch it, feel it. Okay, you got it, understand it. And on the other end of the boat, also outside the boat, stand the gods of senses, which is Ma, which is your sight, the senses, and System, which is hearing. They got four. Notice they didn't put the fifth one in there. We know the five senses, right? Five senses, six is extrasensory perception, but six is the brow. Okay, that's the thought. That's my thing. That's where I lie, right there. And thinking, right thinking. But the brow, and on here they show the eye. The first part of the eye is the smell. First warning, smell. Okay. Next one is sight. After you see it, you hear. Okay. These are all warning signs. These are all giving you inclination what's going on outside the body. So the senses smell, it sees, it hears, it touches, and if it's safe, you put it in your mouth to taste it. So those are the five elements they were used for. You didn't care about the smell, obviously. But let's go. Sorry about that. I had to get that in. Because I'm saying, it's five. I say six, but they say five. I give them the break. But okay, these are all outside. So set them, sight and hearing. Hugh and Sa were known to what? Serve as bearers of the eye of Haru, that's enlightened consciousness. This thing right here. They were also considered to be the tongue and the heart of Asar Ptah. That's the self, the one who created himself. And Asar is the spirit made flesh, the first physical man. That's the spirit, our spirit, Haru, he's our father. That's the spirit that's in me and you. Our father is Asar. Ptah is the God of gods who created himself, self-existence. So, thus, they represent what we call vehicles, through which all human beings can get understanding and espouse the teachings of moral and ethical spiritual wisdom, aka Maya philosophy. It's preparing you, light in your heart, preparing you to prepare for what? The judgment day that everybody has to go through. The positioning of the gods and the goddesses is in this situation. The paramount point is here is because what? It points to the understanding that the netters within the boat itself are emanations. The netters within the boat are the emanation of the divine. They don't change. It ain't moving. While those outside the boat are effects, or what we call reflections of actual creative principle. That's what we stand for, Maya, duality. Every principle has a purpose. It's going to do its purpose. Its role is to do just that. Shu is air. Tefnu is moisture. Ra, the sun. Okay, so therefore, occupants that's of the boat may be understood as to mean absolute attributes from the divine. They won't change. Okay, now while the characters outside of the boat may be understood as what we know relative manifestation of the divine that's in time and space in the physical realm. But this is significant. Why? Because it means that your senses are not really abiding, but conditional and transient, meaning it's not going to last. It's not real. It ain't everlasting. So don't fall in love with this. Don't worry, it won't be around long. Methuselah supposed to live to 900 years. That ain't happening. Okay, but also their depiction of the Usha, which is the praise worship. You see them doing like this. You see them praising. Everybody does this. Now I'm a Red House Mason. We call it the sign of astonishment. We got the sign, but we tell a little different story. I'll leave it there. I ain't getting involved in that. But yeah, I know about the doo-wop, okay? Where we at down here? Okay, the Ushat, excuse me. The Ushat, that means worship of the hut, house, your house. Praise and worship God that's inside you. But you posture with your upraised hands forward, and the divine conveys what the understanding that the senses are subservient. Every knee will bow. Every head will bend, right? Every head will bow, but every knee will bend, every head will bow. But that's giving praise to the higher self. So just as the self has senses, the human body also has senses, and these should be under your control of the mind, the soul, and not the other way around. Your body should not dictate your mind. That little fella is the body. He should not be in charge. That's the ego. I had a phrase back in the day. If the women I said this back in the day would know what it meant, they'd slap my face. Kiss me on my ego. That's the ego. They didn't know that. See? Like I said, they'd slap my face. That's like offering somebody to you, fella. Yeah. If a man did that, I'd punch him in his face. Those are fighting words to me. No, don't do that. But I jokingly made the joke, and I got away with it because I never exposed it. But now I can tell you, I was offering y'all to get on a little fella, and what a lot of them did. Why you say that? All right, I'm just telling the truth. I'm moving. I got to tell the truth, good or bad, right or wrong. The truth is the truth. I told my mother. Let me know when I'm lying. All right, so now, okay, well, I got to wrap it up here. You got two kind of methods. There are two methods that are effective of controlling one's senses, the physical body. First, you do is through use of mystical philosophy, aka right thinking or Maya philosophy, to what? To enhance your mind, and it is to be rendered subtle. Clear your mind, free your mind of all what wrong thinking, right thoughts is able to clear the mind, shut it down, and just take in. Now through Sa, which is understanding, the faculty of understanding, your mind can realize at every moment that the objects which the senses are aware of are not absolute realities, and that they are just emanation from the divine, and there's nothing to desire. Ain't nothing in the physical world that I want and got to have. No. Simple. That's what being spiritual means. If you are materialistic, you ain't spiritual. Simple as that. Okay? But this can only occur even in the mind is what? When it's perceiving the objects as a person and practices what? Daily self-reflection on your spiritual teaching. That's what I do every day. And have been for the last 30 years. And this movement occurs where? In one's mind. And it becomes a lot easier when to let go of what? Material objects, people, places, and things of one's mind and your interests, which are not in line. If it ain't in line with Maya, if it ain't right, I ain't doing it. Okay? And if ain't correct, I just did less about collective ignorance. If it ain't correct, if it ain't right, it ain't enlightening, it ain't prosperous, I ain't with it. Okay, that's my philosophy. We represent correctness, truth, etc. That's it. So secondly, You can further your mind through the practice of daily concentration, where the senses can be controlled whether or not they are awareness of objects. Concentration, aka meditation, increases one's willpower. Your mental and spiritual willpower strengthens when you meditate. You're getting closer to your higher self. So now your senses are under control of the mind and can be controlled through understanding or through willpower. Again, if you know something's wrong or bad for you and you can't stop doing it, that's lack of willpower. That's no strength at all. That's no self-discipline. You can't be successful in life where you can't control the things that don't mean you're no good. From a drug to a woman to urges, anything that ain't good for you, you should learn not to do it. Excuse me. However, the integral practice daily of all your spiritual disciplines, aka right thinking philosophy or the yoga system, will aid and assist in your movement to be able to control and transcend and transform your mind and senses to a higher level. How about that? That's the goal of all human beings, but right thinkers more special. Now, I got one. Yeah, I got to finish it up. I'm almost home. Okay, cool. I got to ride this out. Stay with me. I'm with my man. I'm my man Bobby Heavy here and stuff everywhere. I ain't that bad, but yeah, I got stuff. All right, but the senses. Remember, the senses is the physical body. You should control the body. This controls the body. If you had a wet dream, you would tell you. That would tell you the body is controlled by the mind. The body is asleep. The mind thinks it's just having sex. And the body reacts by what? Having an orgasm. So who's controlling who? Get the concept and wrap it up for you again. Appreciate you tuning in. This is good stuff. The senses can be transcended, controlled through any path of yoga you choose. Yoga of wisdom, yoga of devotion of love, yoga of selfless action, and more importantly, my favorite, yoga of meditation. They didn't put the tantra in there because it's physical, it ain't mental. So however, the yoga of meditation specializes in this art, and all yogas enhance the practice of meditation daily. When the control and transcendence of one's senses occur, now you, the person, may have experiences of various kinds of what we call psychic phenomena, visions, dreams of the past, the future, things to come. But it's a new way to exercise your mind. It's expanding. It's going places you never took it before because you didn't let it go. Let it go. Meditate. And this is just the lower form of transcendence. Now, in the advance, once you get better at the meditative states, from one form, one's what? You will go beyond all your earlier concepts and capabilities of thoughts and even feelings, and you will encounter a new region within, and wherein there is no being or unbeing, no life or death, no desires, and no absence of desires. This region, this transcendent state of mind, this transformation, all and it's called in Rutef. That's the place where nothing grows, nothing moves. That's peace. That's the state of field of reed, we call it, or to some heaven. Okay? So in the West, that's where the spirit goes, to Nrutuf. Nrutef. This is where Asar, I say Amun, same thing, same philosophy, where dwells. And that's the transcendental self, the hidden self, from all which all souls, seer, subject, all objects, seen, unseen, and the total awareness of all objects, sight. Human beings discovers that he or she is the same transcendental, immortal, infinite, eternal, formless, objectless, genderless, supreme self, and thereby merges with his or her own nature. When you become conscious of that, you leave your body here and you go on to the next level where the body cannot go, but the spirit is welcome. if you're conscious and know yourself. See where we're going with this? Wrapping it up, taking it home again. Well, I hope you learn this. This is fun. And when this occurs in all human beings, not 144,000, all those who reach this level, watch this, human beings, it is said to have reached, we call it spiritual enlightenment. Our ancients called it nihas. Now we call it self-mastery, self-discovery. You can call it what you want, Naverna, Moksha, all these states, all these names, but it's a state that you have to achieve for yourself. Like God, you have to experience it to know it for yourself. That's called gnosis. By experience, you should know God for yourself. Don't keep believing in Him. And this is the state of our ancient Egyptian terminology. Hello, bam, taking it in. Nihas, I knew it was in here. Nihas, or to have achieved what we call spiritual resurrection, a new life, a new start. What? In the afterlife, where Asar dwells. Hello, hope you got the message, man. I had fun with this one. I had to pull it out for you. Hope you enjoyed as much as I did giving it. Right, thinkers, in closing, may you all live to be 100. Me, 100 miles a day. So I never know my right thinkers who now understand how to control the five senses and passed away. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. I'll be right back.